Oh hey, I just got back from Coachella. Hey y'all, it's me, Bestchella. And welcome back to Hot or Hot. Today we are going to be reviewing a little bit of tea concerning All-Stars 9, plus the moment you've been waiting for throughout the entirety of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 16. We'll be crowning the official winner of Bussy Queen's RuPaul's Drag Race Season 16 Unaired Runways Tournament Eleganza for Your Nerves. Season 16, the Rizzler Edition. For real, no cap. Period boots. Well, let's go and start with the latest regarding All-Stars 9. So in a video from a couple of days ago where we reviewed the promos and entrance looks of the entire cast, we also talked about this new charity twist where they're giving away $200,000 to a charity of the winner's choice in lieu of a cash prize. We're also highlighted an unconfirmed rumor has been circulating the interwebs regarding compensation packages for every single queen in the season. Even though I pointed out this is literally just hot gossip, there are tons of people online just kind of running with the narrative that these numbers are real and substantiated by anything. And they're not. Like in my research on this topic, I can't find a single primary source actually saying these numbers are, for a fact, going to be part of each queen's compensation package for going on the show. It's all literally just gossip on Reddit with people repeating these numbers over and over with no actual source to back up these claims. And I've seen tons of people being in favor of no cash prize for All-Stars 9 because of these alleged stipends and appearance fees, which I want to say, if true, are absolutely amazing and a wonderful step forward in progress towards compensating the artists that are on the RuPaul's Drag Race platform. But since these numbers are just online rumor, they could also be completely fabricated. Like, we literally have no idea where these numbers came from, and no queens from the franchise on this season or otherwise saying these numbers on any online platform or out loud in any sort of interview. And so I am actually asking you, the audience, for some help here. If you have any actual real primary source tea on these numbers, then let me know via an Instagram DM or business email. Regardless though if those numbers were real, we do know for a fact there is no cash prize, which has been the source of a lot of discussion about if there will be any actual competition on this season. And we got some new press from Entertainment Weekly, an article by Joey Nofi, which suggests, well, actually literally says in the headline that All-Stars 9 is now in the show's Congenial era, being the first season of RuPaul's Best Friends race. And via that article, the cast of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars 9 tells Entertainment Weekly that this year's All-Stars competition is an evolved version of the Drag Race format that expands the show's scope to ensure that charitable organizations get theirs too. Not only are the queens competing for a spot in the Drag Race Hall of Fame, they're also vying for a $200,000 investment in one queen's charity of choice. Which begs the question, is the show fully in its Congenial era after season 16 gleefully unleashed Plain Jane into the universe? All-Stars 9 was really happy and chill. It was just different. Gottmik recalls the dynamic of the season, which includes no eliminations, similar to the All-Stars 7 edition that featured a cast of all prior winners. Literally, we'd be in Untucked and we get heated up and they'd be like, time for a game, and I'd be like, can I say one mean thing? The article also quotes Shannel on this topic where she says, there really isn't a lot of drama this season, and it's all for the better in a season that's all about using drag superpowers for good, not evil. In fact, at one point in time throughout the season, we had said this is the very first season of RuPaul's Best Friends race, Shannel continues. Granted, there has to be pieces of drama, and of course there is, but for the most part, everybody kind of got along well. We've also got quotes from Roxxxy telling us to stay tuned, and there's more to come, and is teasing that she may have brought the tank top Alaska let her borrow in the workroom of All-Stars 2. And the only thing we got from Vanjie on the season is her saying she wants to give it to Michelle one more time and terrorize her with some more hot corsetry. And the only hint of cutthroat competition we get really is from Vanjie at the end of the article, where she is saying she wishes she had won some challenges back on season 11 and has come back to All-Stars 9 to secure those wins. So there you have it. According to the cast themselves, All-Stars 9 will be the very first season of RuPaul's Best Friends race, which also kind of suggests they might be doing the thing where the judges don't give any negative critiques a la All-Stars 7. And so with the knowledge there's no cash prize and this is going to be a congenial season, it is starting to, I think, reframe my expectations of what All-Stars is going to be moving forward. Because originally drama and this idea of a competition was so important to All-Stars, and fueling all that drama, in my opinion, were things like a big cash prize at the end of the tunnel, and of course the threat of your peers literally getting to send you home every single week. But I think it's also clear we're at a point with All-Stars where that format just wasn't really working anymore. I think there were, what, 2 or 3 different queens, including Heidi and Kahana at one point in All Stars 8 who wanted to go home because they felt like the experience wasn't deserving of their time or what they ultimately wanted to put their energy into. And while I'm sure we'll be missing a lot of dramatic moments in All Stars like we've had in the past, that doesn't mean that All Stars 9 and those forward, if they use the same format, will be bad. It just means they'll be different. And ultimately, these changes all mean more screen time for each queen and things like stipends and appearance fees, which if true would ultimately make competing on All Stars a much more equitable experience for everyone competing for a spot in the Hall of Fame. But of course, I'd love to know what y'all are thinking about All Stars 9. Are you excited for a nice season? Or are you gonna be missing some of that juicy drama? And now the moment you have been sitting on the edge of your seats waiting for with bated breath, biting your nails, the RuPaul's Drag Race Season 16 Unaired Runways Tournament, official eleganza extravaganza la perusa for the crown. Of a concoction of my own insanity. We're just gonna go through all of the unaired runways posted by eliminated queens after their time on the show, and in a randomly generated bracket, go through each pairing and decide whose look ultimately is the creme de la creme of these unaired looks, of which we've got about 20 to go through. And first up in the top left side of our bracket, we've got Plasma's chain reaction look versus Morphine's original dancing queen look that apparently had a malfunction with the headpiece, which meant she had to change it at the last second, which is why we got the one we got on the actual show. But this one I think is very pretty as well. It's very Carmen Miranda, but instead of the iconic basket of fruits on her head, she's got some really beautiful flowers coming down as a crown. She wrote, "Originally this was supposed to be my dancing queen look, but I had to change it last minute because my big basket headpiece broke right before. But I'm proud to showcase my culture in any way I can. Los amo. Thank you to my sister for being a part of this with me." And I think she looks absolutely beautiful in this gown. I love all the flowers. I love the colors and how bright and flamboyant the look is. It's definitely hot, and Plasma's chain reaction look is giving us a little bit of a Wild West fantasy. I do really like how she's got that hat headpiece that has those chains coming down the brim. And honestly, all the Western pieces of this look I really adore, especially those arm cuffs with the matching chains and the chaps as well. The things I don't like about this look are the wide bodysuit on the inside. It just kind of feels like there was so much detail and love put into all of the chain pieces, but the middle part, this essentially wide bodysuit, is kind of stealing the thunder for me. That's why I'm gonna give Plasma's look a raw and give the rounds to Miss Morphine. And next up, we got Amanda's Tori Meetings chain reaction versus Mirage's Run Faster Pussycat Run look. And firstly, what I love about Amanda's look is that big curly updo of hair with a crown in it, very much giving me some Chapel Roan vibes, who I did see at Coachella, by the way, and she was awesome. And generally, I think this look is a lot of fun. There's a lot of movement captured in the photograph of it, which I'm sure would have played well nicely on the runway with the chains and the waist and coming down off of the bra piece. And this is also such a great and striking look from Mirage, I think because of that wig. She has such a beautiful face structure, and that little pussycat really does show everything off. I love all the orange in this look from the hair, also integrated in those tiger stripes on the top and in the pants. Very smart. Plus all that metal detailing in the glove and the chap pieces and flare. This is like really hitting a lot of fun style cues for me that is really winning me over here. I'm gonna get both looks hot, but the round's going to Mirage. And next up we got Mirage's I Could Buy Myself Flowers versus Plasma's True Colors look. And in this round, I know immediately who I'm going to progress, who's going to be Plasma, and here's why. Mirage's look just doesn't feel totally connected to the flowers brief as I think it could be. It seems like the main feature is that animal print gown with the corsetry and mermaid skirt, which is all very pretty, but it has these flowers that are kind of more like props glued onto the dress and in the hair in different places that just feel like an afterthought. It was almost like she pulled this pretty gown out of her closet and was like, let me make this work for flowers. Which is all to say she looks very pretty, but for the brief, it's gonna be a rock. Plasma's True Color look is absolutely gorgeous, and I will say I think the photography and Photoshop of everything happening in this is playing into that, but that baby blue color is absolutely chef's kiss. And again, while we don't know what this look might have actually looked like on the runway in person, in this photo, she is absolutely snatched for the gods. The shapes are right. That giant boa is delicious, and everything about the look is icy hot. So Plasma goes to the next round. And next up, we've got And next up, we've got Amanda Tori Meetings fan look. I totally forgot about this. This look is on the levels of iconery, shenanigans, and tomfoolery that the robin's egg and the cat puppet cape look are. This is crazy. Amanda, what's going on here? What in gay hell? This is a really crazy look. He's basically giving us like little cinch bodysuit performance gig with pieces of fans glued to the shoulder pad pieces, and as well as constructing the bra somehow. It seems like she has literally stoned and painted those little hand fans that you might get to like carry around at like the zoo, you know, on a hot day. She's just fashioned those into an outfit. And mama, that's brave. That is bold and brave. So that's that look, which like I'm also obsessed with. Like it is, I think, objectively just a really bad look. But it has this element to it that is so distinctly a mandatory meeting and just so camp and ridiculous that like I'm obsessed. So this is another look from her where for me she has really, I think, just transcended drag, and we'll just leave that there. And that is up here against Geneva Karr's True Colors look, where she has very obviously here chosen the color red. And I'm gonna say she looks absolutely gorgeous here. The mug and hair are so perfected, and I love a giant crazy like cover-up style dress costume that just is a pile of tulle or chiffon, whatever that fabric is, and the color also is gorgeous. This is an easy click on Geneva to progress to the next round, but also at the same time it's not, because that means we've got to put Amanda's fan look to rest. And that hurts. Okay, next up. What is this one? Okay, we just have Geneva Karr's chain reaction look up against Mirage's chain reaction look. I'll be honest, I don't really love either of these looks. Geneva's is giving me Beetleborgs a little bit with like the shape of the dress that she's wearing. Like you see how the back has that plated cutout and the front has that square cutout. It's very buggy to me. And I also wasn't totally reading chains from this. Like when you zoom in, you can see that something is like linked together in a chain-like fashion, but I wasn't getting chain reaction. It kind of looks like almost like those Pepsi can, Coke can tabs that you pull off that the girls make dresses of that are really cute, except there's just not enough of them. If this had been every centimeter of the fabric covered in the chain, I might be buying it, but as is, this is a rot. And Mirage is wearing that. This is almost surprising to me. It's missing a level of polish and I think attention to detail that we see from Mirage. I'm also not seeing a lot of her typical style cues, like those very Y2K sassy hairs or animal prints. Nothing like street either. It's just her with some cardboard wrapped around her chest. It's very much giving girl that was in the bottom of the well in the ring, like coming out of the TV or something. It's gonna be rough for me, but we do have to progress somebody to the next round because that's how a bracket works. So we're gonna give it to Geneva. And next we got Geneva Karr's Flowers look versus Mhi'ya's Fandango runway. And regarding Geneva's look on Instagram, she wrote, "Here's the flower runway I would have worn tonight. It's my take on the traditional embroidered flower dress from the state of Chiapas. Embroidery done in Chiapas, Mexico." And those embroidered elements of this gown are absolutely breathtaking. The attention to detail, the level of detail in those embroidered parts. I mean, really, you just don't see stuff like this in today's fast fashion or anything. And that's why it's so special, especially in drag, when we see queens do all that and relate it back to their heritage and really show us who they are. I think she's done a great job of doing drag here, and this look is really great. She looks beautiful, definitely hot. And that is up against Mhi'ya's Plan Fandango look, which is really interesting in that it appears to be created out of magazine sheets that have been folded in such a way to look like fans and then placed to construct the gown. And in terms of this look fulfilling the brief, I don't know that I would have ever seen this and immediately thought fan. And while this look photographs well, I also have a concern for how something like this would have traveled well or not, considering it appears to be made of all paper. And I would give this just a safe hop because I am personally missing a bit of theme recognition here, and I'm gonna give this round to Geneva. And next up we got Dawn's Fandango versus Geneva Karr's DragCon of the 1980s looks. And immediately I've gotta say Dawn's is breathtaking. She looks like a little fairy that just happens to be gracing the harbor over in New York somewhere, delicately standing on those rocks. She looks gorgeous. And in this take on Fandango, I do very clearly see those fan patterns in both the ears and this kind of jellyfish style dress that she's wearing. It's definitely hot. And Geneva's look is okay. I feel like it very much is drag con of the 1980s business executive kind of big business realness stuff, but I don't personally enjoy this look. It's just okay to me. I just don't personally like the style. So I'm gonna give it a rot and give this round to Dawn. And next up we got Plasma's drag con in the 1980s versus Plasma's fan looks. And her drag con look is absolutely breathtaking. On Instagram, she wrote explaining her interpretation of this brief: somebody has to save our skins. I've always been a massive Carrie Fisher fan and a huge Star Wars nerd. And since Star Wars changed the 80s forever, I know exactly what I would have worn to RuPaul's drag con a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Princess Leia in white pleather, naturally. This look is gorgeous and I love the reference, although I will say I'm not totally sure I'm getting her connection to the runway brief. I will also say this was a really strange runway brief, and I think seeing how the queens ended up interpreting it, she really had one of the most original and unique interpretations that ultimately I would argue makes sense, and I'm gonna give this look a hot. Her fan look is also pretty, kind of blending some 1920s flapper girl with what I would say Vegas showgirl, almost carnival elements. And I really like that very clearly you can see these giant fans that are kind of like wings coming in the back of her costume. And I love how she's played with that pinky red color versus the purple on the rest of the look. The details of this are great. It very clearly is in that Fandango theme category, and she looks beautiful, but girl, that Princess Leia look is a gag and a half. We're gonna give the rounds to Princess Leia. And moving on to the top right side of our bracket, we've got Geneva Carr's fan versus Mirage's also fan look. And starting with Geneva's, this is not my favorite garment that she's ever worn. It's giving kind of like I just took a shower and like here's the bath towel and shower cap. I'm just not loving how like the piles and layers of this kind of slightly fanned rouged fabric are just laying all around her body. I think there could have been a lot more done with some shape here, maybe bringing out a silhouette that had more shoulders, more dramatic collar, and same notes on the waist to kind of give it that more of an hourglass shape. Mirage's look though is cute enough, I think, for warming up. However, I'm not really sure this is on theme. This is like a feathers runway more than a fan runway. Like, where is the fan element in any of this? I also don't love the messy implementation of the way those feathers are kind of messily kind of falling around the back of her body and then turning into nothing around her waist. Actually, we're gonna revise the warming up to a rot. I'm so sorry, Mirage. And just because Geneva was on theme here, we're gonna give the round to Geneva. Baby, you can't read the doll. And the next round is actually a bye round, meaning Geneva has no competition slotted against her for her Dancing Queens look, which she says on Instagram is an homage to a dance in folklorico called concheros. And she says this costume hopes to show how beautiful the dance itself is. With a photo, if you keep scrolling, of Miss Geneva Carr out of drag from her early 20s. That's a Gagatrandra. Geneva's costume though, I think is really fun, and I am gonna give it a hot and of course progress it to the next round. And now we're getting so close to a winner of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 16 Unaired Bussy Queen Tournaments, RuPaul Lollapalooza Eleganza for the crown, that I can almost taste it. And next up we have Morphine Dancing Queen look versus Mirage's Pussycat wig, which I'm actually gonna give to Mirage. She really put her entire charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent into this look. And really, from a grander perspective, the photography, the photo of this, it feels so Mirage, so Vegas, so nightlife performer. I love everything about it. And next up we got Plasma's Baby Blue True Colors versus Geneva Carr's Red True Colors, which I'm gonna give to Plasma. Hey Nikki, asthma. And next we got Geneva's Chain Reaction versus Geneva's Flowers Runway, which is gonna be an easy choice for the flowers for me. And lastly, on the left side of this bracket, Dawn's Fandango versus Plasma's Princess Leia Drag Con 1980s look, which is tough. They're so different and both great, I think, in their own respective realms. I am gonna give it to Plasma, though. She has a more, I think, coherent vision for exactly what it is she's portraying in this. Plus, I just love the reference. And next up, we got Geneva's Fan versus Geneva's Dancing Queen look, which I'm gonna give it to Dancing Queen. And on our final rounds, we got Mirage's Pussycat wig versus Plasma's True Colors, which I'm gonna give it to Plasma. And Geneva's Flowers versus Plasma's Drag Con, which I'm gonna give to Plasma. And another bye week for Geneva Carr brings her Dancing Queen look into the final rounds on this left side, which means really for me, it's all gonna come down to Plasma versus Plasma. And really, I've gotta say the details in these looks from Plasma are so strong, head to toe. The hair is so perfectly styled. The makeup, both so well done in both shots, and the photography and artistry of both also just amazing. I will say, on the actual RuPaul's Drag Race runway, Plasma's true colors look would have stood out a lot more because of all the rhinestones, because of the color and the showgirlsy nature of the costume, versus that Princess Leia look, which would have been really washed out in all those stage lights. Because I think another reason in favor for me of giving it to Plasma's true colors look is going to be because of how elevated her drag looks here in these photos. This is a level of Plasma that we didn't get to really see on the show, but here she is showcasing that growth, and I am so proud to see it. And to technically finish the bracket, we do have to put Geneva's Dancing Queen look versus the True Blue. I'm gonna give it to Plasma's True Blue. And so we, and by we I mean me and hopefully you too, over here at the Bussy Queen channel, want to extend a huge congratulations to Plasma for winning the very official and coveted title of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 16 Unaired Runways Bussy Queen's Eleganza Lollapalooza for the snatched she done already had hers Rizzler crown, with an honorable congratulatory mention of a mandatory meetings Fandango look. And by default, this look from Plasma is also my hottest hot this week, but I did ask my patrons over on patreon.com to vote for their hottest hot, and this week they've chosen Dawn's Fandango look. But of course, I'd love to know what y'all thought about the outcome of this tournament down in the comments below. What choices would you have made differently, and which queen's look ultimately gets your hottest hot? And regardless of whose look you love the most, make sure to go give all the season 16 queens some extra love on social media, especially those who were eliminated early and were brave and bold enough to share all of their unaired looks for our consumption on their social media pages. And don't forget, you too can join my Patreon at patreon.com/bussyqueen. That's my members only website where my patron family gets exclusive member benefits like early access to my YouTube videos, access to tons of exclusive content, like my extended and exclusive bus stop reaction videos where we discuss every episode of RuPaul's Drag Race episode as I watch them live, and the ability to access things like hottest hot polls, which are featured in every single one of my videos. My patrons really do make my channel possible, and I want to extend an extra thank you to all of my patrons who have been subscribed over the years, and give an extra special shout out to Ashley Bungard, Felicia, Laura, Matthew Burns, Steven, and Will and Tana, who are all supporting me at my Bussy Queen Collector tier over at patreon.com/bussyqueen. See you later. Love ya. Bye.